Since you and I have known each other a long time, but a lot of my readers probably aren't familiar with you. So, can you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for Attorney General?
Sure. So yeah, my name is Nate Willems. It's not Sam like it says right there, but my name is Nate Willems like it says right there. I'm from Anamosa originally. I live in Mount Vernon. I was a state representative back in the during the first Obama term, and then am also a lawyer who represents Iowa labor unions and their members. I represent workers who've been hurt on the job in workers' compensation cases, and I represent Iowans who've had wages stolen at work. So I'm running for Attorney General because I want the Attorney General's office to be focused on protecting and helping regular Iowans, not getting involved in Washington political fights or filing political lawsuits. I'm running because I want to focus on both, protecting Iowans from violent crimes and from corporate crimes. I mean, certainly the top priority for any attorney general's office has to be, working with county attorneys on the Class A felonies, the most violent felonies in Iowa, to provide any assistance that's needed to prosecute and win convictions. Uh, I'm also very interested in going after corporate crimes. What I see in my law office over the course of 16 or 18 years, I've represented tens of thousands of Iowans and recovered tens of millions of dollars in wages and other benefits that were wrongfully withheld, not paid. Um, but what I do is really just play whack-a-mole because there's $900 million a year stolen out of Iowa workers' paychecks. And what does that mean? That means things like not paying overtime, failing to having people work off the clock, stealing tips, misclassifying workers as independent contractors, or illegal deductions in paychecks. So yeah, state government does very little about it, almost nothing, and they certainly there's no real disincentive, no fe deterrence, no fear of prosecution by a state actor. So I really, I'm running for Attorney General. I want the Attorney General's office to investigate and prosecute corporations when they steal wages from their workers.
Does
Uh,
does the Attorney General's office already have the tools to do this? Because I was thinking about when the Democrats controlled the Iowa Senate and the Republicans controlled the House, there were a number of years where the Senate passed a wage theft bill and then it didn't go anywhere in the House. So I had this impression that maybe we needed more stronger laws on the books.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think that that's accurate. I think the Attorney General's office does have the tools available right now. I mean, the Attorney General's office has the authority to bring civil or criminal complaints whenever, in the opinion of the Attorney General's office, state interests are impacted. And so certainly all of the lost state tax revenue from wages that are not paid creates a very clear state interest that gives the Attorney General authority to investigate and take action. Um, I mean, look, there are other kind of things that you know that are adjacent to that. I mean, we just saw just recently, I was very glad to see Johnson County Attorney Rachel Zimmerman Smith bring felony charges against business owners who did not have workers' compensation insurance. That's a Class D felony in
Mhm.
Iowa. There was a fatality not too long ago at that particular business, and she's brought charges. And to my knowledge, one of the very rare instances that statute has been utilized. But in my practice, certainly we see with regularity in workers get injured, and there is not work comp insurance in place to
Mhm.
pay the bills, and the public taxpayers, Medicaid, or just or the hospitals may get stuck with those bills. Uh,
Mhm.
but there's no reason why county attorneys or the attorney general's office cannot be doing just exactly what Rachel Zimmerman Smith is doing and bringing those types of felony charges in those situations.
You mentioned in your press release price gouging by corporations. Are there laws on the books that the Attorney General could use right now to prosecute
The,
companies
the
that are involved in price gouging?
Yeah, the state of Iowa does have, I mean, typically in that area, we think of federal law, but the state of Iowa does have some anti-competitive statutes that can be utilized. And Attorney General Miller did have, I believe, one full-time kind of antitrust, for lack of a better term, attorney that is no longer in that role under the current attorney general. But so yes, that there are advocacy on behalf of consumers, of course, was a great accomplishment, a great legacy of Tom Miller, and that's just a whole area of the AG's office that needs to be revitalized, to say the least.
Mhm. You had mentioned that you think that the state shouldn't be wasting time getting involved in political lawsuits all over the country. Would you, if you were elected Attorney General, would you redeploy? Brenna Bird has allocated more staff and increased and hired more people to work on federal lawsuits, both against Biden administration
Right.
policies and against other state, like the state of California or the state of Massachusetts policies. Is that something where you would be looking to redeploy some of those staff to work on issues in the state?
Right. Likely, yes. I mean, they're about, typically I think 125 to 130 attorneys in the AG's office. It really is the largest law firm in the state of Iowa and the only one that's supposed to be dedicated to helping regular people in Iowa. And that should be the focus, the mission of the office. I mean, look, there are times, when the rights of Iowans have been violated, and you could see that some sort of multi-state litigation could bring back a tangible benefit to Iowans or protect them from a clear harm that this may be that type of litigation is appropriate. But it just seems that the Attorney General Byrd is very eager to get into lawsuits that I think are just overtly political, or sometimes even to the point where it's a lawsuit, so you have a reason to put out a press release. I mean, that's not a good reason for the state of Iowa to file a lawsuit.
Speaking of lawsuits that look political, I have to ask you about this situation with the Winnebago County Sheriff.
Well, I think it's, completely inappropriate for the attorney general to try to bully a county sheriff or try to bully anybody in law enforcement. I mean, the that sheriff takes an oath to the Constitution like other office holders. I don't know if he's right, but I certainly believe that he has an honest, good faith belief that he's trying to uphold the Constitution.
Mhm. I have to ask a few questions just about the campaign mechanics. And how long have you been thinking about this? And what went into announcing now rather than waiting to see whether Attorney General Byrd runs for reelection or for governor?
Sure. Well, I mean, I've been thinking about this for some period of time. Back since before the elections in 2024, and I've been making my plans really regardless of whether Harris won or Trump won. Whether Attorney General Byrd was running for reelection or something else. I've been making these plans to move forward. That's it really is I think it's the right time. I mean, it's the right time for me for any number of reasons, but I mean, I feel very strongly about the type of work that I do, and I enjoy the type of work that I do in my law practice. But I just feel that there's so much more we can accomplish on behalf of working families in Iowa. If we take that same sort of mindset and mentality to the Attorney General's office, that hey, we have the opportunity, with whatever time we have, every day is an opportunity to go to work for Iowa for workers in Iowa, consumers and senior citizens. That is it's a special thing. So I decided to make these plans to run, and to the back half of your question. I mean, I decided to make plans to try to get this campaign going, but before Governor Reynolds had announced that she's not planning to run again. So
Mhm.
that really hadn't figured into anything.
Are you planning to continue with a full-time law practice while you're campaigning, or are
No,
you going to be campaigning full-time more or less? I mean, it's a big state to cover.
right. No, I've scaled back at work. I mean, the typical routine is for me to go into work like normal, 8:15, but then to be out at noon and
Mhm.
to come back to Mount Vernon where I live. We've taken got a lease on this space here in Mount Vernon, which used to be, at one point, this was the fabric department of a Ben Franklin.
Mm.
More recently, it was a kettlebell gym that did not survive COVID. But it was important to me to have a campaign, to have a campaign office, to have it in Mount Vernon where I live. I'm hoping that this place can, just kind of become a hive of volunteerism here over the, next year and a half. But so yes, I'm going to be here making the phone calls, doing everything that's necessary on a daily basis, 1 to 5 with travel and evenings and weekends as appropriate, and that's just going to be the new normal for what I do for the next year and a half.
Have you started going around to Democratic events or central
A little
committees
bit.
or other events around the state?
So I mean, I was just yesterday in Council Bluffs for the Democratic Women's Group. They filled their room with about 50, 50 people, and got to speak to that group. And I did a little bit of travel, just kind of informally last year, to places like Sioux City and Mason City and Dubuque and Burlington and Iowa City, just to kind of meet with some activists as well, just in to talk about the things that I'm interested in, and get some feedback on that sort of thing.
So I have kind of a minor obsession about these, what I call mid-sized cities. Some people call micropolitan areas, these former Democratic strongholds that are no longer Democratic. And do you have any thoughts about that? I'm thinking of places
Absolutely.
like Ottumwa, Burlington,
Right.
Clinton, Mason City.
Well, and I mean, we have my law firm. We have a satellite office in Keokuk, in
Hmm.
the Keokuk Labor Temple that we staff 1 to 2 days a month. But no, I mean those communities where there is you know, I mean, they understand power. They have a good blue collar, working class labor tradition. And some of those communities that where, used to be voting pretty consistently for Democrats, and not so much in the last 10 years. A lot of folks, maybe for cultural issues that they've gone elsewhere, but, those voters, the voters that I think we need to be successful, they still know, not in the back of their head, but in the front of their head, they still know that when push comes to shove, 10 times out of 10, Republicans are going to support their boss and hose them.
Hmm.
And so I do think it's very important to be talking to, working class, blue collar people who sell their lives by the hour, and let them know that, I want to do, if you sell your life by the hour, that you deserve to get paid for every single hour of your work. And if that's not happening, then yeah, that's something that an attorney general's office should be willing to investigate and look into.
Is there anything I didn't ask that you think would be important for my readers to know?
Uh, I don't know. You know, uh, my wife's on board with this campaign. The girls are on board. I mean, I think they just want to get me out of the house, But no, it's a family endeavor. We're excited. Uh, this is uh, it's something that it's important. I mean, here's the other thing. I like my job, right? And
Hmm.
and I get to, sleep well at night. We make a good living at it. But, you know, at a certain point, are you just going to be comfortable doing that?
Hmm.
Or while you watch the state year after year, take one step after another in seemingly in the wrong direction. So, or are you going to take action or do something to try to, serve again, and put yourself out there. And I just think it's important right now, for somebody like myself to step forward and give everything they have, to win back the Attorney General's office.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.